What's up, YouTube? Happy Friday. CHF here, bringing you another episode of Coaching Handheld Football. And today, we are going to be talking about the early released info about the Pro Bowl promo, as well as doing the draft strategy. Since I was an idiot and it wasn't there, actually, I got to give that on EA. You know, for EA to randomly throw in a draft tournament on Monday, then take it away Wednesday and bring it back today. But I did confirm it is here today, so we will be talking draft strategy. But let's talk about our quick daily grind guide and what's in the game. So, of course, do your league versus league drives, your league survival, donate your 100 crowns. If you can stomach the 3,000 points of overdrive every 4 hours, go for it. I can't. Not doing it. Probably for the rest of the year. But hey, if you want to keep grinding it, feel free. And we've basically got the kind of last little bit of the playoffs here, because as I said, we're going to be talking about the early released info from EA about the Pro Bowl promo, kind of giving you a run through that. But yeah, other than that, guys, you've got a new Earl Thomas safety, pretty good looking safety here, definitely a zone coverage safety, but most of the time safeties are in zone coverage. 95 speed, 94 zone, good looking card, great tackle as well, and pretty high pursuit. Probably a card that plays pretty well, but these things are, you know, like rarer than winning the lottery, you know, because I basically spent 20,000 Blitz tokens and didn't even come close to pulling one. So other than that, guys, you know, they're just kind of pushing, you know, to buy Madden 19, the Ultimate Super Bowl Edition, as well as more about that, as well as the New Era. Seems like a lazy promotional thing where basically they just changed the Madden pack that was available to do New Era. So New Era, you are paying for a sponsorship to basically just have something that was already in the game changed to include your name on it. Seems a little lazy. I would think if somebody hired me to promote something, I would do a little bit better job than that. And then, of course, the Quad Hub. It is no longer the Crap Hub. I am calling it the Quad Hub because you can do it every single day, and that definitely makes it a little bit better. But guys, gonna stop there for the intro. Let's go ahead and talk about the Pro Bowl promo and the leaked info that EA did give to us. Alrighty, guys, so here we go. It is the official Pro Bowl sneak peek released by EA's Hey Steve Dave, and basically it's going to be a week-long promo that's going to allow you to earn some of the best players in the NFL, and supposedly they have read a lot of the community feedback after Ultimate Freeze, and supposedly this promo is designed with a lot of that feedback in mind, so we will see. So this promo is going to run from the 20th through the 28th, and it is going to use 3 main currencies, okay? So, much better than the 532,378 currencies that we had for Ultimate Freeze. So we are basically going to have these Pro Bowl ballots, which are the stamina currency. Those are the ones that basically the currencies that you will use to play the live events. You play one free event, it is going to give you 10 of those, and that event will refresh 3 times a day. So 30 free Pro Bowl ballots a day. You can also exchange 20,000 coins for 5 more on a 6-hour cooldown, or 1,000 Blitz tokens for 10 Pro Bowl ballots on a 3-hour cooldown. So that's basically what you will be using to grind the live events. The next currency that you are going to have are boxes of votes. You're going to earn these boxes of votes by playing one of the 5 Pro Bowl challenge events or a Pro Bowl veteran Blitz event. These are going to be ones where you have a first win bonus, and then you can repeat them for a reward. And all of these events are going to refresh 10:30, 4:30, and 10:30 Eastern Time. You're basically going to trade in 250 of these boxes of votes to get an 87 or better overall Pro Bowl player. And apparently this is going to be a select pack that's going to give you a choice of either an AFC or an NFC player with a small chance at getting a diamond. Now, guys, the way this is going to work, it's going to be another one where basically you cut the players or exchange the players to get the masters, so to speak. So you're going to have these AFC and NFC helmets that you're going to be earned by exchanging the Elite and Diamond Pro Bowl players. You can basically trade in these helmets for Pro Bowl heroes. Elite players are going to exchange for 1 helmet. Diamond players will exchange for 2 helmets. Now, there's going to be 2 essential types of masters, so to speak. There's going to be heroes, and then there's going to be veterans. The way it's going to work is the 6 Pro Bowl heroes are going to be available throughout the entire program. These are the ones that you can grind for and work for. It's going to require a total of 3 AFC helmets and 3 NFC helmets. So, just thinking ahead, if you've got some coins, knowing that the elites will cut for 1 helmet each, if you buy 3 elites from the AFC, 3 elites from the NFC, exchange all of those. That's what it's going to take to get one of the heroes. If you happen to be able to snipe a diamond or something like that, it would be 2 coming from that. That actually seems pretty reasonable. 6 elites total to get one of these 96 overall Diamond 3 players. Not too shabby. And then there's also going to be a total of 9 Pro Bowl veterans. These are also going to be 96 overalls, and these are going to be the ones that are the pay-to-win Madden Cash only ones. Well, not Madden Cash only. There's also going to be a very small chance to pull one of these from a Veterans Blitz event. Now, on top of that, guys, they talk about a little bit about stuff that's going to be in the store. And in the store, there's going to be 2 offers that are available to help you boost these. Now, usually the way these things work, if you're going to spend money on these, it is best to buy them right away, immediately. And basically, they're going to have a $2 pack that's going to give you an 80 overall player that is going to boost the number of ballots that you earn by 20%. So when you do that event that normally gives you 10, it would give you 12 if you've got that guy on your roster. It's also going to give you 25 boxes of votes, which is basically 10% of the 250 that you need to get an elite. It's going to give you 2 gold or better base players. I do like that they put that in bold so that, you know you're not going to get that. Apparently, there is a small chance of a Pro Bowl player, which means you're probably not going to do that. Pull that. It's also going to give you 5 Pro Bowl ballots, and that 80 overall card will exchange for 10 Pro Bowl ballots, not a helmet. They are also going to be doing a Pro Bowl starter pack. And in that starter pack, it is going to give you a VIP event. It's basically an extra Pro Bowl challenge that will refresh 3 times a day. It's going to give you 125 boxes of votes, which is basically half of an elite player, as well as an elite or better base player with a small chance of a Pro Bowl player. The Pro Bowl is going to lead directly into the Super Bowl program, and as they say here, they are going to give you more info, which I will read and bring to you guys in case you're not always lurking the forum and just like to come to YouTube for your content. But I gotta say, great job to EA for the communication on this, giving us a nice early look so that we can at least kind of start to plan for it. Gonna make my promo breakdown when it drops a lot easier. But without further ado, guys, that's kind of the rundown of the sneak peek of the Pro Bowl promo. So let's go ahead, hop into the draft. We're going to do our draft live, and I am going to talk draft strategy, why I draft the way I draft, and so on and so forth to help you guys try to get a leg up in the competition if you, in fact, do like to do these draft tournaments. See you in a second. Alrighty, guys, so we are going to be talking draft strategy here. It is back to the draft tournament that we get on Friday. Hopefully, EA messes up again next week, because I like these draft tournaments better than the regular ones. Like, the idea of a game mode that has parity is huge to me, where nobody has this pay-to-win advantage over everyone else, and it's an even playing field, or relatively even playing field. You know, if you have a better draft than anybody else, could give you an advantage. But basically, this one for this weekend is going to be vertical, both captain and coaches, for an extra 50% towards your points, counting towards getting your rewards. I'm going to go ahead and start the draft. We're going to talk draft strategy. I personally always like to use the scheme that I am most comfortable with in the actual game here. So with that, I am going to use a West Coast captain. I will use a vertical coach because I do want at least the 50%. If you play vertical, great. Use a vertical captain and use a vertical coach. But I think that playing with a scheme that you're comfortable winning with is more important than that first 50% bonus. Just because you only get 3 losses before you have to start using tickets. So in my opinion, it's just better to use the scheme that you are best with. So in this case, I am going to go ahead and use Todd Gurley. I will probably put him over at the fullback spot. Now, when I look here, I am going to have to use a vertical captain. I don't have a vertical coach. I don't have a good vertical coach, but I do have a level 6 Mike McCarthy, which will be good enough. He's got a good play and quick slants, and since you can't really get like the full bonuses, it's a little bit less of a concern. So let's talk actual strategy. My approach to a draft is to go mostly defensive heavy, but more importantly, I want to get a power advantage. So I'm going to prioritize Elite 2s over Elite 1s where it makes sense. I do want to have a few core important positions. I do want a good quarterback. I want at least one good wide receiver, and I want a good tight end. But if I can get a good quarterback, a good wide receiver, a good tight end, and maybe a good running back, Those are really the only 4 positions that I care to get on offense. The rest of that, I want to make my defense as stout as possible. So let's go ahead. We'll start this draft starting with a scheme round. So I am going to go ahead and get myself a player here that is going to be West Coast. And this is a pretty crummy round here. So we've got Jack Doyle. He is slow. We've got James Devlin, who is also pretty slow and is a fullback. And we got an offensive lineman, specifically a center, which is probably the least useful offensive lineman. So in this case, I was originally planning on putting my Todd Gurley in the fullback spot. That all changed. I don't run a lot. I only run for challenges normally. So I'm going to go ahead and take Devlin here. Just because there's not really a better option. I want a better tight end than that. So I'm just going to take that one in my scheme. Now we move on to this skill round. And what do we get here? So we've got, let's see, we got 2 Diamond 2s. We got an Aaron Jones halfback. Don't want to use that just because I've already got my Todd Gurley. And we've got a Greg Olsen tight end who is also slow. Not a fan of this round. And Cooper Kupp, pretty slow wide receiver. So, you know what? I'm actually going to go with Greg Olsen here and just not throw to my tight end all that much. I definitely would have wanted a better tight end than that in the quarterback round. Let's see what we get here. So we've got Ben Roethlisberger, who is my scheme. However, he's only got that 40 power since he's an Elite 1. So I'm going to go with either a Cam Newton or a Josh McCown here. So let's take a look stat-wise on them. I do usually throw short and medium passes. So honestly, I'm going to go Josh McCown here. They're both, I think it's funny they're calling McCown a scrambler quarterback with 75 speed. But his throw on the run is a little bit better than Cam's. A little weird. And he's got better throw accuracy as well as equal throw power. So Josh McCown, welcome to the squad. Got my quarterback. Not the best one. Now, scheme skill round. Let's see what we get here. We got 3 Elite 1 players. Already have a tight end, so we're going to scratch Zach Ertz off there. Already have 2 running backs, so really it's just going to be a David Moore by default. Nothing else useful. So I'm just going to take him. That's kind of all I really need as far as the offense goes. Moving on, let's see. We get another tight end here. We got an Antonio Brown that's basically, I think that's like the intro level. So in this case, I don't need any of these players or positions, so I'm taking Rodney Hudson just for that extra 10 power. I would have preferred something on defense, but now we're going to get into the defense round here, and let's see what we get. So there we go. Pretty straightforward, guys. Again, I'm prioritizing power because if I can get a power advantage, you can get up to, I think, +1 to the entire squad. That's going to be helpful. +1 overall to the entire squad. So I'm not even going to look at the stats. We're taking Manti Te'o here. And I'm going to go, as I said, from here on out, try and be defensive heavy if I can get defense the rest of the way. So here we go. We do not need a defensive tackle. That's probably like the least useful position on defense. So we have 2 defensive ends. Dante Fowler Jr., DeMarcus Lawrence. And looking at the stats there, we've got a speed rusher and a power rusher. They're similar in block shedding. And Dante Fowler is definitely a little bit faster, has better pursuit as well as better tackle and hit power. So Dante Fowler, welcome to the squad. Got 1 defensive end there. Now we've got the run stop round. Let's see what we can get here. This one is going to be straightforward. We're going to take Steve Atwater. One, I like to have a fully rounded out safety. We've already got, or secondary, we've already got a middle linebacker. Not going to take an 82 perfect linebacker over the 85 Steve Atwater. So I'm going there, getting that extra 10 power. That's something that is going to help us out there. And then here we go. Moving on to the nickel round. We have 3 of the diamond or of the Elite 1s. So we just have to look at the stats here and see what we have and who we're going to put in the nickel position. I do like to prioritize speed as well as man coverage in this position. So it looks like this one's going to be pretty straightforward. I think we're going to go with Joe Hayden here. Since all of them are the same level, I like the stats on Joe Hayden best. So Joe Hayden, welcome to the squad. Then we get the coverage round here. Another round of all Elite 1 players. So we're just going to have to look at the stats here on these guys. So we have a zone corner. a zone safety, too slow at the safety position, and a pass coverage linebacker. Most of the time in Overdrive, I think people are passing, so I'm going to go ahead and take a pass coverage linebacker there and move on to round 11. Here, what do we have? We have two offensive linemen and a defensive lineman. Specifically a defensive end. I'm not even going to look at the stats, guys. I'm going to go ahead and round it out. That way I have both of my defensive ends being better than the base gold players that you would start with. Here we go. Moving into the hands round. We have, let's see, we've got Marshawn Lattimore, Kevin Byard, as well as Tyreek Hill. All of them are going to be Elite 2s, giving 50 power. So when I look at my offense, I already have one wide receiver. And I'm going to be honest, with the West Coast scheme, I normally always either throw to my slot receiver, my tight end, or a running back. It's very rare that I use wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2. So as nice as that is to have a 90 speed wide receiver, it would kind of be wasting some things that I have there. And to get that 86 speed man coverage Marshawn Lattimore, I think it's a better fit because, again, I want to have all 6 of my secondary spots in elite players to make passing the ball a little bit harder, since passing is kind of the more prevalent meta in the Overdrive game mode. So here we go. In the best available round, we have all Elite 2 players giving 50 power. Definitely not going to take a center here. Might take a look. See, I don't like the idea of taking the 85 there. However, we already have a middle linebacker in Manti Te'o, so that Alec Ogletree, as good as that card is, it's very rare that I'm going to have 2 middle linebackers on the field. Don't want the Ezekiel Elliott, so I'm kind of left with a choice between Jordan Phillips at defensive tackle and Glover Quinn as a run support safety. So looking at the stats there, I don't know if I like him in coverage, and really run support is not huge. So since I believe I do have another heavyweight on the squad, I'm going to take Jordan Phillips here. A defensive tackle is not that great, but considering he's going to boost someone else on the squad, I'm just going to take it. Moving on to round 14, which is the Legends round. This is going to be a pretty straightforward. Unfortunately, they're all Diamond 1. So they're only going to give 7. Definitely don't want a defensive tackle. Already have 2 defensive ends. So it's pretty straightforward. We're going to take Ed Reed. We want 6 players on our secondary. We're not going to get that, but we can at least get 5 if we're lucky. Right now we have 4. And in the MVP round, let's see what we get here. Oof. Ugh. That's a pretty crummy situation there. Pretty crummy situation there because we already have a quarterback. So we've got 2 quarterbacks, and we have a defensive tackle. And yeah, that's a crummy draft, guys. I hope you guys have a better draft than I got here. But in this case, I don't want to pick either of the quarterbacks because I've already got a quarterback. That Matt Ryan definitely is a decent looking quarterback. Has better throw power, better throw stats, but I think that Josh McCown that I have is gonna be good enough, and I would rather, the issue is, if I take him and replace him with Matt Ryan, it's gonna be boosting my power a lot less than boosting a gold player up to a diamond player. So in this case, even though it is kind of the worst position, I'm gonna go ahead and end up with a full front 4 and take the Fletcher Cox. That's gonna help with the team power. It's going to boost the team power up to, I think, 943. Now, I've only got a 78 offense, but I do have an 83 defense. And as you can see, the community average is to go offensive heavy. But if you use the West Coast scheme, you really don't throw to wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 all that much. So having those guys on your squad is just wasting it. And to boost your offense, it doesn't matter where the power comes from. So in my opinion, I would rather have the offensive guys that I actually use as good as possible, and then I want my defense as good as possible, along with as much power. Now, what I will do is I'm going to change around the ordering of things here, okay? Because I am going to want to put my, oh, you know what? It's not going to let me move things around quite yet. Now it's going to let me move things around. So here we go. Looking at these, I am going to go ahead. I can't move Devlin into the halfback position because he is an actual fullback. So we're going to leave Gurley as our halfback. Now, what did I say about who I like to throw to? I like to throw to the tight end, and I like to throw to the slot. So we are going to switch David Moore with the flex spot. And put him in there because he's the best wide receiver that I have. So I want my best wide receiver in the slot. That's who I throw to the most. And that is pretty much going to set me up the way I want to be on offense. Now, when we look at the defense, I only have, a secondary that is basically covering the main position. So I don't have an extra defensive back that is going to be ideal in the nickel or dime slot. But I want to go ahead and look over what I have because I do want my defense to play as good as possible. So looking here, I do have other decent speed players. So I'm actually going to go ahead and move right into this position here. And let's take a look at the 73 safety here. Even though he may not be the best, that's 71 speed in the nickel slot. Let's see if I can do a little, yeah. Actually, let's see here. 79. Oh, those coverage stats are awful. Those coverage stats are absolutely awful. I'm just going to deal with the fact that my nickel and my dime back are going to suck and leave it at that. As far as that goes, I'm going to keep Marshawn Lattimore in the wide receiver 1 position, or in the corner 1 position, Joe Hayden in wide receiver 2. And let me just take a look. I do like to have my better safety on this side because that's going to end up being the strong safety, which will usually line up on the right side of the field. So yeah, and then Steve Atwater is actually a run support safety. If I would have gotten the full 6 defensive back, I would have wanted to put Steve Atwater in that nickel position. But other than that, I'm just going to roll with this team. It's kind of what I got. I'm stuck with it. I'm going to go ahead and lock in the lineup, but that's how I approach these draft tournaments. I like to get at least one of the bonuses, usually from the coach. I do like to go defensive heavy after I get the main position. So if your play style is a little different, maybe you like to run the ball. Maybe you mostly throw to wide receiver 1, but don't draft players just to draft players on offense if it's not somebody that you're going to throw the ball to or run with. Because it's just a spot that you could take somebody on defense for that could help, if there's a versatile player on the other side, just help shut them down. I've been defensive heavy since last year, and I think that that's the way to go here. But anyways, guys, going to stop it right there. If you like the video or what I'm trying to do here on the channel, go ahead and hit the like button. If you are new to the channel, guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. What you can count on is strategy content, promo breakdowns, anything I can think of that's going to make your life easier in this game. And if you want to see what I drop, when I drop it, go ahead and hit that bell icon to join the notification squad. I love you guys. You are the best ever. I will be streaming tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern time. I hope to see you there. CHF out.